But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon.
Hello and welcome back to another episode with Bamboozer Plays Kerbal Space Program, and you're joining us in episode 8, where if you joined us in the last episode, we built this monstrosity of a rocket ship. I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself, but also extremely nervous if this is even going to work and get us to Minmus. Now, just to recap last episode, we upgraded our astronaut complex, and then we recruited Jebediah's brother Jedus Kerman into our space program, our budget space program, because we literally don't have any spaces left anymore. And we're basically just doing this one mission to save our entire space agency at this point. But regardless, the brothers have joined, and this mission they're going to go together to Minmus, and we're going to try and attempt to land on Minmus. We're going to plant a flag on Minmus, come home with a bunch of spaceos, a bunch of science, and then we can upgrade our budget space program back to a Kerbal space program at that point. But the stakes are extremely high, because if we fail, then we're literally bankrupt, because we're literally putting all of our eggs in one basket pretty much in this situation. And that got me thinking a little bit about our monstrosity that we did build to get ourselves to Mimmus. I do think it's overboard and overkill. And I did a little bit of research, and I kind of think I need to tweak the rocket ship just a tiny bit. The first thing that I think we need to definitely take care of is that these fuel tanks are extremely heavy. And considering that we got 3 of these boosters going, and because of those fuel lines, we've only got 2 on the exterior side. And once they're empty and they leave, we basically just got 1 engine to lift this entire thing up in the atmosphere. So what I'm thinking is to change this around a little bit, where these ones are actually going to go on the sides, and we're going to keep that one in the middle rather small, meaning that these are going to last a little bit longer. Meaning we're going to be using, why want to do that? Okay, that's fine. Meaning that these ones will last, these exterior tanks will last a lot longer, meaning we're going to be punching through the atmosphere with 3 engines rather than 1 at a certain point. Meaning basically, yeah, you know, this last bit is really just going to have to get us up to like that last bit. This doesn't change anything in terms of our weight of our spaceship. It doesn't do much about anything other than that. The only one little concern that I have is obviously when we detach them from the radial devices, that they that could in theory maybe create a problem. But we'll see. The other thing that I also noticed with these, this might now get a little bit. This might be a bit wonky now, but I don't want to move these radial decouplers downwards, because they are kind of like aligned. Oh, they're not really aligned. I can move them down, but because they're bigger, I do want to create some struts just to make sure that they are safe and sound attached to. What is that? Is strange that this is happening like this. Look at that. It's just sticking out. That's no bueno. Okay, that's also no bueno. So let's remove that. Just pick 1. And then we're just gonna add some struts to, no, I think this needs to be lower. I mean, this is not how I want it to be, but we're gonna lower these just like this, and we'll do the same on the other side. And I'm thinking, do we need to, oh, that didn't work. Just to give it a little bit more rigidity. We've got these struts here. I think these ones probably need a little bit of struttage as well. Let's see if we can do it on all 3 sides up here. Does this work? No, it does not work. Let's try it again. It's not attaching. Why are you not attaching? Why are you not attaching? Okay, there's something going on here. That's not entirely... It's not making me too happy. There we go. Okay, it's attached on all 3 sides, so that should create some more stability. Let's just do it Just to be sure, because we have parts to spare. Just to make sure that our rocket is as rigid as possible, because it is an absolute monstrosity that we're taking up into space at this point, and so the last thing that we want is anything to be a little bit wiggly. While I'm trying to get this to attach, and it won't, so I'm assuming if we do it, nothing wants to attach. Okay, what if we do it? Nope. Okay, we're just gonna go with nope. Okay, that works. That works. So we got some more struts, which is good, and then yeah, we'll decouple those. We'll go, and yeah, I mean, I don't think we really need to do more checks because I think we have everything that we want at this stage. Just to double check, Jebediah is in here together with Jedus, so that's good. Those are the two brothers who are going to go up in space together. And I think we have everything that we want, basically. Do we have solar? We don't have a communitron. Let's get a fancy one in there. We only need one. And let's put that just above actual window. So in total, 66,000 spaceels for this spaceship. Fantastic, as that's pretty much all the spaceels that we have. We're gonna save this ship, and we are going to basically launch. Just double check the staging because I have changed a little. There we go. Then these go. Then that goes. And those go. I think everything is good here because I didn't change anything to the staging itself. But it is worthwhile always checking so that you don't have to actually do that in space. And the most important one is that at the top of this particular, I don't know what you call it, like capsule, it has its own decoupler. What we don't want to do is decouple that, and then basically whoever's in here is gonna die because yeah, there's a parachute on that particular thing. So I think we're good. Gonna save it one more time. A little bit nervous, not gonna lie, because yeah, like I said, it's all of our eggs in one basket in this particular mission to go land on a Mimmus. So let's go. This is always the part I'm a bit too nervous about because the screen is black and I'm like, is our ship gonna be okay on our launch pad, our monstrosity of a spaceship? So we'll see. I'm looking for my water because I'm gonna need to take a little sip. And there it is. Look at that beauty of a spaceship. Standing at well, at least our pilot, or is it our pilot? I think it's our pilot. Standing at 96 meters up in the air. I mean, this thing is absolutely ginormous. Look at that. It's almost as big as the vehicle assembly building. I mean, you can't get anything bigger out of that, pretty much. Well, you can, but I mean, it's almost as big. Think about this, right? 96 meters. That's 100 meters nearly. This spaceship is more than 100 meters tall. It's just crazy. Crazy to think about it. So, the mission that we're going to do. We're going to plant a flag on Minmus, and we're going to land on Minmus. And we are going to try and make sure that what we saw on Minmus was like these like salt plain, ancient oceans. It could even be oceans. We don't know. We haven't been there. But it looked at least flat, which looks like a pretty safe space to practice a landing on a planetary or a moon-like body before we go for our actual major milestone, which is to land on the Mun and return, obviously, because that's a given. So we're going to turn on SAS. We're going to increase the throttle of our engines, and then we're going to pray that this is going to work. So wish us luck, and spacebar in 3, 2, 1, and too nervous to click on it. Do we abort? No, we don't. We go for it. Let's go. Here we go. Okay, we're going a little bit slower than I would have thought we would be going at this stage, but we're going, and that's the most important piece right now. We're going rather slow, so I'm not going to touch anything in terms of our trajectory or our movement or anything like that. We're going to try and punch through the atmosphere as fast as we can straight upwards, and by the time we get to like maybe the second stage, we'll start to drift a little bit to a 45-degree angle. But it's a lovely day on Kerbin. The sun's out. It's a mild breeze. A little bit cloudy. We're going to see that right now because we're going to punch through clouds just momentarily. But other than that, it's a beautiful day. It feels like it's a day of 25 degrees on Kerbin, you know, like just perfect for a launch day, basically. Perfect for a launch day. So we're just about to enter the second part of the atmosphere, which we should give a name, but we don't have a name for it yet, which is fine. We'll do that at another time. But I am seeing that the fuel is definitely emptying out rather quickly, and we're only in that second part of the atmosphere. I'd actually hoped that we would have been a little bit higher, but that's okay. That's okay. The speed is what it is. We're reaching around, probably we're going to reach around the 500 meters per second once we detach the sideways fuel pods, and we're going to enter the third part of the atmosphere, which is good news. Our apoapsis right now we're going to drop those, so that's a good detachment. We're going to drop those, and our speed is basically just flattened to 526 meters per second, which I think is actually not a bad thing at this stage, considering we have a one engine lifting this massive and gigantic thing up in the air. So we're actually going to start to turn a little bit to that 45-degree angle, because I think we have the we're high enough in the atmosphere that yeah, we're not going to completely lose control of the entire thing, and we should start to create some sideways speeds, since our apoapsis right now is at 55,000 kilometers up in the sky. So we can see here Kerbin already, its beautiful curvature, the massive mountain there in the distance. Should give that a name as well. Mount Kereverest, I guess. It's absolutely gigantic. We should definitely go visit that at some point. But yeah, the fuel's about to empty out. We're going to reach space because our apoapsis is at 70k, so I'm actually going to be quite aggressive in terms of our turn and try to use the remainder of the fuel and the power that we have to really start to create that circularization around Kerbin. But up to this point, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I kind of hope we may have gone a little bit higher or further in terms of our periapsis. Uh-oh. That did not sound good. Okay, fire away. Okay, that was better. Oh, we're losing control. So just a little bit of energy here to push out. So yeah, we got 3 engines firing. This stage really has to get us around Kerbin. So I'm just gonna cut the engine right there at the 80-kilometer apoapsis part, and then make the maneuver node up there. And as you can hear by the jingle, we're in space, so it's good with a good amount of fuel in our second stage, which is gonna help us orbit around Kerbin. And because we are approaching our apoapsis quite fast and our periapsis is rather small, we're actually going to start to increase the speed now, because otherwise it's not going to be fuel efficient. But we are going to basically hit for the horizon. And when we change camera view, you can see here that our curvature is quite steep for what it is. But we're in space, and that's what matters. And we're approaching our apoapsis rather quickly, why I've already decided to engage our engines at full thrust to try and create that circular orbit at around the 80,000 kilometers up in the sky. So you can see that our pro-grade marker is already kind of like lowering underneath the surface. So I'm just going to push up a tiny bit. This is not the most fuel efficient, but we are exactly now at our apoapsis. And if we can kind of keep this a little bit stable, that we don't lose too much height on this. I don't think we will. I mean, we're not going to drop 10,000 meters, that's for sure. But it does mean we are less fuel efficient. Now let's keep a track on the periapsis, because it's definitely closing in fast. Our apoapsis is quite balanced, so we might actually make a really nice circular orbit this time around Kerbin, which we haven't been able to do at this point. Don't want to talk too fast, obviously. Gonna hit it again on the prograde marker just to make sure we get there. So we're almost in a circular orbit, almost there. Here we go, and cut the engine. Okay, pretty happy with that. We got a little bit of fuel left, which is good. And now we basically need to navigate to Minmus. So let's set that as a target. And then let's see, since I think that Mimmus is moving in this direction, I think what we want to do is we may want to hit around our periapsis. Let's just try this and see if we can make an encounter. That's not good. That means maybe we need to have a bit of a bigger No, that's no bueno. Maybe we need to have a... Maybe the orbit that we have is too steep. Could that be the problem? Also, our inclination is completely off. So let's retry this. What we could do is, because we still have a bit of fuel left in this... oh, this is quite finicky, this part of the game. What we could do is we could branch out our... I don't think it makes that much of a difference if our orbit is larger. It's going to be less steep. Okay, let's try and at least get into the same plane as... Is this one? Yes. Okay, so basically we want that dotted line to align with the yellow line. Because then we're in that same inclination, or at least angle as Mimmus, which is good. So we want that. That would be a total of 9 seconds burn to achieve that. So we could do that first, because that's not going to empty out our fuel reserves at all, and it's going to get us into the right inclination. But I'm just going to see what happens if we... Oh, there was some sort of an encounter. That was probably with the Mun. Oh, look at that. We're making some kind of a progress here. What are those? So this is a closest approach, and this is target position closest. So we would be here, and then I would assume that Mimmus is going to be there, which is miles away. So what we could do is... Okay, let's try this a little bit smarter. We want to be smart about it. So I'm assuming that Mimmus is going to be around here, and if we go from here, for example, and then we first make sure that we get the inclination right. So that dotted line with the yellow line is at a good spot here. Again, 9 seconds, so that's good. It's approximately what we had last time. And then we hit the retrograde piece. Now, what does it look like if we lower this a bit? So now our closest approach would be here, and this is, I believe, where Mimmus would be. So Mimmus is actually moving quite fast. So I'm actually thinking we need to be much further away from where we are right now. So last time we tried it was from the periapsis. Let's try it just before. Oh, messed that one up. So nope. Okay. And let's get the right inclination in first. Just gotta eyeball that a little bit. Let's see if we can do that. So that's around, no, that's too much. Again, 9-second burn, so that's just like previous. It's kind of like the standard, I think, right now. That 9-second burn is what we should be aiming for. But again, we're not really making an encounter, so... Why is it that we're then... I think what we need to do is we need to increase our... I think I'm pretty positive about it now. Because I think what happens is when we have such a shallow orbit, so once we get to the apoapsis, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make a little maneuver node and just increase that by this much. So this is a 5-second burn that's going to create our apoapsis at 250. And then we'll do the same on the other side, and then we'll have a much larger orbit around Kerbin. I think that's what makes most sense at this point. So... yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to point our ship prograde. I think that's where we will be at this stage. And then we're going to warp to this section over here just to cut a little bit of time. And then Jedus and Jebediah, please situate our ship on the prograde marker. We'll see it actually move. We're going to be on the dark side of Kerbin. What we could also do is we could actually get rid of our protective shell. We should deploy that. Because we're not going to need that anymore since we're actually in space. So 3, 2, 1, deploy. Look at that. Look how spacey that looks like. That's amazing. Oh, and we can do our EVAs. Haha, Jebediah. All right, are you going to be our first Kerbin to ever do an EVA in space? Get your spacesuit on, put your helmet on. Make sure that the visor is down, check oxygen levels, and I'm just going to wait for the ship to actually be in proper... oh, I think we missed our maneuver marker, but that's okay. because we just did our first EVA report above the highlands of Kerbin, which is great because that means that we can get more science based on the different biomes that we actually are going to encounter in our... Oh, that's really good. That's a nice little bonus science to have. Anyways, I'm digressing because we passed our maneuver node. But that's no problem because we're just going to keep track of this. So we're just going to hit the 150 mark, which is fine. Going to get rid of this maneuver node over here. And that's going to give us a bit of a better circle around Kerbin for now. So let's create this maneuver node and see if this actually helps us a little bit with where we want to go, which is basically visit Minmus, make an encounter with Minmus. How difficult can it be without overshooting, let's say, Kerbin orbit? Let's say that. All right, so, okay. Now, what do we got here? So, we are pretty far away. So if we're here, this is where that is. So can I move this thing here? I can. Does that increase the... It doesn't increase the burn time, so that's good. But what it does do is it changes where... See, but that's the odd thing here. So if I oh, hang on a second. No one. Oh wait, no, because we are going to Mimmus. I was aiming for this one. That makes no sense. So it is a bit finicky because you see, if you go too far, you're not going to make the encounter. And you need to make that encounter. Why are we not making that encounter? So you need to be a bit more, I guess, this direction and maybe overshoot it a bit. But if we overshoot it, we leave our own orbit, which is not what we want to be doing. This is hard. This is really hard. I don't know how to do this. So what if we align those two a little bit more? Here we go. Now we've got a Mimmus escape, Mimmus periapsis. But I don't like this because that requires a 2-minute and 30-second burn, which is not the kind of fuel that we have. And the next engine that we're going to be using is a Terrier engine, which is not as powerful. So that's not going to be good for our timing. So how can we do this the best way? Do we shoot more this direction? And I thought this was going to be the... Oh, look at that. Do we go straight for the moon? Is the Mun like an easier... I mean, at this stage, we might want to go to the Mun. Because we're not making the encounter. Hang on. 1 second. My dog's at my door and he's crying. So he wants to come inside. Alright, Mr. Boy. Mr. Buddy Boy. His name is Murphy. Alright, he's joined. Okay, let's see. What can we do in terms of this? I mean, we want to go to Mimmus. We built this machine to go to Mimmus, but we're not really... I mean, oh, hang on a second. Our plane is also way off, so we didn't course correct for that. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on a second. I think I know what my issue is here. Okay, so we've got this, the ascending node, and we've got the descending node. So I think what we want to do is we want to create our first maneuver here to actually be in the right plane of Mimmus. So you just saw that the descending node and the ascending node just swap positions. So I think that's pretty much where we are right now. So let's do that as our first. That's a 10-second burn. Okay. Can we move our ship? Yep, we can. Let's move it to the marker, which I believe is that. I want to believe it's that. Is it that? It has to be that, right? Yeah. There's no other marker like that on our thing. Hi, Mr. Murphy, joining us on camera today. Hello. It's probably way too early for his food. Anyways, Okay, let's slow down our return here. We're very much fighting our ship here to stay within that area. I'm actually pointing it into another direction, but it's still overshooting it, so it's a bit tough. I'm watching a nav ball at this point, but as you can see here, the ship is absolutely ginormous, so turning it is a little bit difficult. We're going to be reaching our node in about 6 minutes, but I'm going to warp us, obviously, to that part. Do the 10-second burn, which will still leave us with a bit of fuel left, but at least then we'll be in the same plane as Mimmus will be. Mr. Murphy, come on, man. Okay, let's go. Okay, all right. I think we're now in a relatively good spot. So we're gonna warp to where we need to go to, which is our maneuver node over here. And let's warp. Let's go. Okay, so now we're there. Just 5 seconds away from maneuver node until we have to push for 10 seconds, and we go. 8, 7, let's watch this. Yep, it's moving in the right direction. 4, 3, 2, 1, and cut the engine. We got a slither of fuel left. Literally just a slither. Okay, so now we are in the, as you can see here, very beautifully, we're pretty much in that same plane as Mimmus is. Mr. Murphy, come on, man. Okay, let's go. All right, so let's get rid of this maneuver node. Why can we not get rid of this maneuver node? Maneuver node is locked. What do you mean it's locked? No, it's not locked. Okay, so now let's see what happens if we put a maneuver into this direction over here, because Mimmus is quite small. Remember last time we went there, it was like a really small planet, and we didn't even see it until we got really close to it. So let's see what happens when we maneuver node this direction into, hopefully it'll be in its vicinity. We should be getting a marker here, so closest approach. So I'm thinking this is too steep as well, so we'll move this over to around here, meaning we'll be pushing out more that direction. Maybe this one's a bit too much. Could be too much. And remember, it's pretty far away as well, Mimmus, so it took a while to actually... Ooh, look at that. This is where we want to be. Look at that. What's the apoapsis here? Okay, 44,000. That's still a ton. That is still a ton. Let's see, what does that look like? Let's push a little bit more retrograde. So if we do this, if we look at this, so then our closest, so the closest approach of the target will be there. So that's still far away. So this is, okay, so just above our desert launch site is maybe one, but I'm thinking if we go even further, we'll get into an even better spot, which is really what we want to do, because we want to be conserving as much fuel as we possibly can. We're making nice encounters with the Mun, I have to say. This spaceship could have been used for the Mun. So look at that. Okay, look at that. Okay, so now we are in a 1.6. Still a lot. Can we get that closer? So if we move in, 1.1. Why is it? Oh, 700 and yeah, 500. So push out a bit more. What would that do? 600. So okay, that goes too far. So we want that to be decreasing. And maybe if we now move this thing a little bit, if we can, it's a bit finicky. No, add another maneuver node. Oh, what are you doing? There we go. Move it like this. What does that do to the periapsis? That increases it. What about the apoapsis? That also increases it. If you move it into the other direction, I feel like we're getting 500. What does this do? 700. So I think 500 is about the best that we can do, which is around here. 600. 900, so it's still this direction. I think it's like just when that circle is going a little bit crazy. Okay, so I think this is good. Which is a 3-minute burn. That's a lot of burn. Also considering that, you know, like I said, we're going to be using the Terrier engine, right, for the majority of this actual burn. So I expect that burn time to actually increase by quite a bit. So I don't know if we'll have enough fuel. This is odd. I didn't know it was going to be this much fuel to get to Mimmus. You would think it wouldn't be, but apparently it is. Maybe it's because I shifted things and I shouldn't have done that. So let's try this again because we got a bit of time. I feel like it's just too much. What was that? What was that encounter? No, not the right encounter we're looking for. Now we're not making any encounter with Mimmus. Oh, here we are. Okay, it is about the same. So, and that's also a 3-minute burn. So I don't think it makes that much of a difference. We decrease it a little bit. Does it? No, that's just too high of a periapsis. It's just too high. I mean, the amount of time that we need to slow down just to get into its orbit. I mean, it's not going to be. Yeah, let's do this. I mean, we're right there where we need to be. Our burn time is going to start in approximately a minute, so I'm just going to move our ship to where we need to be, which is going to take us about a minute to get there, by the looks of things. So come on, let's move. Let's move to the marker. And what we'll do is we'll punch with this engine, and then we'll decouple, and then we'll move forward with the Terrier engine, which. Considering that the Terrier engine just isn't that powerful, like our math might be a little bit off. But we're going to be less heavy, so we'll be pushing less. And I just feel like that slither of... okay, I'm going to push it. Just so that we're in target. Okay, we're releasing this. Come on. There we go. And let's go. We're a little bit late, but that's okay. It's still a 3-minute burn, so I'm actually quite happy with that. So it did calculate actually with the engine and the fuel that we have left, so that's definitely a positive. I'm gonna need to keep good track of the nav ball here. This is why you see me sort of slanted forward, because we want to make sure that we're pointing in a direction of Minmus in the best possible way. And I'm hoping with the amount of fuel that we need to burn here, considering it's a 3-minute burn, that we have some fuel left to orbit around Minmus, and maybe even like use a bit of it to decrease the velocity at which we're coming at, or at least the speed that we're coming at. Not the velocity, I don't know, whatever. I'm trying to sound sciencey when I'm not science at all. So whatever speed that we're carrying into Mimmus, we want to be using that as a brake. So considering, just to think about, just eyeballing the math here, the amount of fuel that we have left and the amount of burn that we have left, we've just done a third of the burn, and I believe we just did just under a third of the fuel. So I think we will have a little bit left. Not a lot, but a little bit left. Which is what we wanted. Obviously, we do have the exterior fuel tanks that we brought with us to do the extra braking anyways. But anything is an extra bonus, right, at this stage. Anything is an extra bonus. So we're just above the halfway fuel. We're about halfway through the burns phase right now. So yeah, I'm pretty confident we'll have some extra fuel left over. But again, I need to concentrate and make sure that we're constantly pointing at this direction, because with that Terrier engine, it's fuel efficient, but it's extremely slow, right? And now that we're almost 2 minutes outside of our maneuver node, it's going to constantly be shifting. The good news is that our prograde marker is basically on the planet itself. So that I'm quite happy with. So I think it's going okay. I think it's going slow. It's going slow. We've got about a minute left of burn time, and then we should be making our encounter with Minmus. So I'm just gonna zoom out a tiny little bit. Still nervous about this mission because, yeah, we're basically throwing all of our eggs into one basket, so it has to go perfect. We have to be able to make this because if we don't, we're gonna find ourselves in a really, really difficult prospect, right? Like, we will have no spaceos, our reputation will be destroyed. We could even have lost the brothers Jebediah and Jeddas, which is not something that we want to do, and that's also bad for our reputation. And yeah, you know, this is part of the challenge. We said no reverting flights. We're gonna do it the old school way, and hopefully it'll work. So okay, now we're making an encounter with the Mun. So that's good to know that it requires quite a bit of fuel to get there with the Terrier engine. So I'm gonna decrease the speed a little bit just so that we have a bit more control. And I'm gonna use both my hands to aim at it and cut the engine off as soon as we're gonna make that encounter, because we've got 3 seconds. Oh, hang on. I think we made the encounter already. I think we just saw an encounter happen, so I think we have to decrease our speed just a slight smidgen. We overshot it just by a tiny, 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 tiny amount. There we go. We got an encounter. Okay, not the encounter we had originally planned for, but we got an encounter, and that's what matters. And we have a little bit of fuel left to spare. So, and that fuel will be used to basically create that orbit around Minmus. So let's get rid of this old maneuver node if it allows us. And considering now that we are pretty high up in space, I think it's time for Jeddas to do a little. Oh no, but he can't, because he's stuck in this. This thing. Does this not really have a door? Can it not EVA? Hey, it can EVA. Look at that. It's on this one. Oh, here we go. Okay. Jeddas. Get out in space. Have a little sniff. Have a little walk around. Take a little EVA report. Bring in that good science. So we've got an observation from high space above Kerbin, which is fantastic. Which is good. So we got 8 signs and 12 signs from this. However, I just realized that these could have been done in and above Mimmus, which would gather us a lot more science. And considering that Kerbin is pretty close, we're probably going to have them do it again. And then, and then get more science. And on another mission, we'll get the stuff above Kerbin. In the meantime, we're basically heading the status report. Sit rep. Okay, we are heading to Minmus. We're closing in on Minmus, which is fantastic. We have our brothers, Jeddas and Jebediah, in our monstrosity of a spaceship called the Mimmus IV, or the Mimmus IV. And we've got a bunch of fuel left, and our idea is to land, plant the flag, and then hurry on back to Kerbin. We're in a good spot. I think at this point we are going to say thank you for watching this episode, and join us at episode 9 when we will be going straight to Minmus and and do the rest of this mission. So I'm happy. I'm pretty okay with how things are going. We're gonna hit the we're gonna extend the what was it, the Communitron, and maybe we can even send the stored reports, and look at that, it's going to give us all the signs that we want. So that is fantastic. Let's do the same with the one that Jeddas did, meaning that we can then again take the additional signs, which is great because now we have a battery and solar panels, which will then help us increase the total charge that we have for our battery. So let's just make it sure that it's pointing towards the sun. One of the solar panels. Come on, you should be working. Why are you not working? There's too much, I guess, too much shadow, I would assume. I would think that this is pointing in the direction of the sun, so I don't know why it's not achieving anymore. Anyways, we only got a little bit of charge left. Hopefully it gets charged. I mean, we did bring solar panels, and it is pointing at the sun. I can't imagine that this is not... Where's the sun? There's the sun, see? Look at that. It's pointing right at our solar panels, so I don't know why it's not charging our battery. But that's okay. Hopefully it's charging our electric... No, it's not. Okay, well, that's for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you there.